With the recent bull run in the crypto markets, you might wonder whether or not you should invest in cryptocurrencies right now. Especially since the price recently dropped a little, it might be a good buying opportunity. So that's what we're going to try to figure out today. I've seen every possible price prediction imaginable the last few years, ranging from Bitcoin is going to be worthless in a couple of years to it's going to be worth a couple million euros or dollars and we're all going to be millionaires. They really are all over the place. The truth is, nobody really knows for sure what is going to happen with the technology and the price. And today I'm not going to talk about whether or not Bitcoin is a viable concept or cryptocurrency has a future as a technology or that it can be used to store value. I already touched on that subject in a previous video, so check up on that later. Or that I'm going to draw lines on a chart and say where the trend is going. I mean, that has already been done to death, so we're going to do something completely different today. Here, check this out. While these are still graphs, they look pretty much identical, right? About the same highs and lows, and especially the run up to the top and then the sudden drop afterwards. Well, all these graphs are Bitcoin in various stages of its life. Now take a look at this graph. This is a simplified version of what a market cycle typically looks like. And again, it looks, give or take, the same as the Bitcoin graphs, right? While in traditional markets like, for example, stocks, it takes years or even decades to form a market cycle. While in Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, mainly due to the technology being relatively new and a large factor as well is just because of hype, this seems to repeat about every few years, or at least it has done so in the past. At various stages throughout its life, it has gone through the same boom and bust cycle. Suddenly exploding within a couple months in price and then coming back down to roughly about the same price level as it was before, or slightly higher. It would be really nice to use this to accurately predict whether or not you should buy, and especially to buy when the price is low and sell when it is high. I mean, that's what we all want to do. The reality though is slightly different, and that is the main point. It's really difficult to accurately predict this while it is going on. It is actually next to impossible. However, there are certain cues or triggers that you can watch out for if you really look for them. And that is also the reason why I personally think that Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies will go even higher this year, and they haven't reached the end of the cycle yet. And here's why. If we take a look at the picture of a general market cycle, there are two sections that I personally watch out for. The first one is, give or take, this part right here. With Bitcoin, this was near the end of the bull cycle in October, November of 2017. During this period, literally everyone had heard of Bitcoin and was either already invested in it or was trying to invest in it. Some people I knew who had practically no financial knowledge, especially not regarding cryptocurrencies, suddenly started buying into the coins. And even worse than that, some even ordered some of their friends to buy it for them, since they couldn't be bothered doing the research themselves. And this was not a one-off case. Everyone was suddenly an expert, even if they had never invested into practically anything before. Complete madness. It is also around this time that I read a lot of stories of people taking out extra loans, taking out a second mortgage on their property, or using extreme amounts of leverage or extra leverage just to buy more Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. This really resembles the story of the shoeshine boy. The story goes that Joe Kennedy in the summer of 1929, just before the great stock market crash, had a shoe boy that was cleaning his shoes who was giving him stock market tips. Whether or not it is true is completely up for debate. But his quote, or Joe Kennedy's quote, goes, "If the shoeshine boys are giving stock tips, then it is time to get out of the market." Or in other words, if people with no financial knowledge, let alone knowledge on cryptocurrencies, suddenly start massively buying it, then it really is time to sell. The other section is about here, where anger meets depression. You can recognize this when the self-help hotline is pinned to the top of the cryptocurrency Reddit. And no, I wish I was making this up. But it makes sense when a lot of people are angry or even depressed about the investments that they made, then it really is a good time to buy. The same goes for stocks. For Tesla, for example, the last really great buying opportunity was when an internal mail leaked where they stated that they might run out of cash within a year. The stock completely plummeted and it was a really great buying opportunity in hindsight. If you had bought then, you would have tenfolded your money easily. The same goes for banks during the financial crisis. A lot of them were on the brink of financial collapse, but if you had the guts to buy some of them or some of their stock right now, you would have made really a killing. But that's really tough to do when in the heat of the moment or when basically the company might go under. But in general, the rule is when blood is flowing in the streets, it is time to buy. Now in reality though, this is easier said than done. During the last crypto boom in 2017, 2018, I bought after the peak, but I think about 3 or 4 months afterwards, but it was still too soon afterwards. And the result was that my initial investment still went down a lot. But what I did was I dollar cost averaged into the cryptocurrency market. And the end result of that is that after a few years, I'm now way in the positive over my initial investment that I have ever put in. So again here, while the bottom is practically impossible to predict where it will be, it is best to invest in small increments over the course of a few months or even years. And that is also going to be my advice on buying Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies right now. While I am quite certain we haven't reached peak craze like in 2017, especially if you look at Google Analytics or the interest over time of people typing into Google how to buy Bitcoin or typing in Bitcoin in general, then we haven't even reached close to the peak of 2017 yet. So personally, while I think it will go up over the course of a year, I would advise you, if you are still on the fence of investing, invest in small amounts over the course of even a year or longer and invest in small increments. Especially with a product like Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies where you can see your portfolio double one day and then half the next, it is really important to dollar cost average so you don't feel the pain of those large swings all at once. Also make sure to only deposit about 5 to 10% of your complete portfolio in a product like cryptocurrencies or a high risk product. If you are younger than 30, for example, there is something to be said to have a higher than that percentage of your portfolio invested into something like cryptocurrency, since if everything goes south, you can still recoup your losses over the course of 10, 20, 30 years. If you are older, you're not going to gamble with all your life savings just on unproven technology in the hope that you will become a millionaire. I mean, that's complete insanity. And of course, don't invest money you need within 5 years or you can't afford to lose. Personally, I would invest at least a little into cryptocurrency. You never know where it might end up. I mean, the first time I heard about cryptocurrency, I researched everything about it and I thought to myself, what idiot would buy cryptocurrency or fancy internet coins for $2 a piece? And overall, the trend over the last few years in general that is still up. So it is a scarce good. People believe it is worth something, which in turn makes it a self-fulfilling prophecy. The same way that we think gold, which is a relatively useless metal, apart from small amounts in electronics, etc. Already discussed that as well in a previous video. But it is a relatively useless metal, but people still believe it to be scarce and to be worth something, which in turn makes the price go up or makes it actually worth something. The same goes for cryptocurrencies or paper money. We believe our money is worth something and that the number on your account actually means something. Could be just another number, but if everyone believes you can buy some groceries with it, then buy some groceries with it. And if you, like I said, only invest a small amount of your portfolio into it, what's the worst that could happen? The worst is that you lose a small amount of your portfolio. Not fun, but hey, not the end of the world either. The best case scenario is that you can buy a brand new Lamborghini. So hey, there's that. So what do you think about buying Bitcoin best idea ever or worst idea of your life? Please let me know in the comment section below whether or not you want to buy Bitcoin. If you have any questions regarding Bitcoin, feel free to ask. I will answer them as I can or when I can. And I hope you like and subscribe the video. You know the drill. Do that, make me happy, and then I hope to see you next time. Bye.